Graduation day arrived under a sky the color of soft pewter, the air heavy with the weight of endings. Anna should have felt the kind of satisfaction she'd imagined for years, the joy of finishing Oxford, of closing one chapter and stepping into the next. But the truth was, she felt hollow. Jamie wasn't there. While the rest of her classmates posed for photographs in their caps and gowns, she kept glancing toward the crowd, searching for a familiar face that never appeared. The absence was louder than the applause. When the ceremony ended, she made a decision she hadn't planned on. She packed her things and booked a ticket back to New York. If Jamie didn't want her to stay, maybe the only way to honor him, and herself, was to let go. But her friends didn't agree. If you're new here, I'm Daniel, your professional film analyst. I launched this channel to break down your favorite movies into pieces for better absorption. What you have to do, first of all, is to like this video to encourage me more, subscribe to this channel, which is totally free like I always tell people, and click the notification bell so you're always carried along. They found her in the quad, their expressions a mixture of pity and urgency. He loves you, Maggie insisted. He doesn't know what he's saying. Their words chipped away at the wall Anna had been building. Against her better judgment, she turned and ran, to the library. And there he was. Jamie looked up from a table stacked with papers, surprise flickering in his eyes. Anna didn't waste time. When we met, she reminded him, you told me not to live by rigid plans, to make the most of every moment. I want to live whatever moments we have left with you. His reply was quiet, almost resigned. I want that too. But it's madness. Madness or not, they both knew the answer. They kissed, sealing a promise neither dared put into words. No matter how short their time, it would be theirs. That night, they stayed together, not in the distracted, casual way they had before, but in the way of two people who know they're holding onto something fragile. The next morning, the fragility revealed itself. Jamie wouldn't wake. Anna's heart leapt into her throat as she shook him, called his name, tried to will his eyes open. Panic blurred her vision as she called for help. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and hushed urgency. The doctor's expression was grave as he explained, pneumonia. The cancer had already weakened Jamie's immune system, leaving him vulnerable. We need to begin treatment immediately, the doctor said. But before Anna could respond, Jamie's father stepped forward. Jamie doesn't want treatment, he said firmly. We have to respect that. Anna's gaze darted between them. The father who had fought so hard to keep his son alive, and the son who had already made his choice. In the end, she said nothing. The choice was Jamie's alone. Time blurred after that. Days and nights folded into each other, measured not by clocks, but by the steady rhythm of Jamie's breathing. Anna stayed by his side, holding his hand, telling stories, refusing to let the silence swallow them. If you are enjoying this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and click the notification bell so you're always carried along. One evening, she decided to take him on the grand tour they'd once dreamed of, if not in reality, then in words. She spoke of Paris, where they'd have breakfast on a balcony overlooking the Seine. Of Rome, where they'd get lost in narrow streets lined with trattorias. Of Santorini, where the sunsets would bleed gold into the sea. As she described each place, his lips curved in faint smiles, and for a while, it felt like they were really there, traveling together, making memories that existed only in the heart. And then, as quickly as the storm had entered her life, it began to pass. Not because the illness was gone, but because life, in its cruel way, had decided its course. Sometime later, Anna found herself in a very different position, at the front of a classroom in Oxford, standing where Jamie once stood. She had taken his place. On her first day, she carried in a cake, just as he had for her. The students looked at her curiously, waiting for their new professor to speak. She smiled, a real smile, small but unshakable, and began. Her voice didn't tremble. She wasn't here to replace Jamie, or to pretend the loss hadn't carved into her. She was here to carry forward the lessons he'd left behind. That life isn't meant to be lived in rigid lines, that even the shortest connections can leave the deepest marks, and that sometimes, the greatest courage is choosing to stay, even when the ending is certain. Looking back, she would never call their love a tragedy. Yes, it ended far too soon. Yes, it hurt more than anything she'd known. But it was also rich, reckless, and alive in a way that few things ever are. In the quiet moments, walking across the quad, sipping tea by the window, hearing the rain tap against the glass, she still felt him. Not as a ghost, but as a presence stitched into the fabric of her life. Oxford had given her a degree, a wealth of knowledge, and 1,000 memories. But its greatest gift had been Jamie. And no matter where she went, that was something no illness, no distance, and no time could ever take away. With that, Anna closed the book on her Oxford year. Not with a neat ending, but with the kind of unfinished beauty that lingers, reminding you of what was and what will always be. But if you skipped the journey here, you missed Anna's full transformation. At the end of this video, tap episode 1 on your right to see how this strange Oxford semester began. Then, tap episode 2 on your left to watch the cracks in her love story widen and the tension snap. For more movie recaps, hidden gems, and emotional roller coasters, like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell, because the next story breakdown is even crazier. See you soon.